Warning: the following audio contains discussion of substance abuse and mental illness. Thankfully, God does a miraculous work in the life of the storyteller. But if you are currently or have experienced such sensitive material, listening discretion is advised.
I was a church kid. I went to church. So, I grew up in a Puerto Rican home where if you live under my roof, you are going to church. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I remember actually just last night I was speaking to some youth, and I mentioned it's like I used to be you. I used to go to the youth group, but it wasn't real.
Have you ever felt crippled by sin? Have you ever felt like God's hand was quick to save everyone, but short to save you? Maybe you don't want to let go of your current reality, or maybe you're waiting for a miracle to happen. In this podcast, you will not only hear from the program director for our Adult and Teen Challenge in Maryland, but you will also be hearing from my chosen tío, Juan Delgado.
What's up? How you doing?
What up?
So I get the opportunity for my Agents of Change class to talk to somebody, specifically a Christian leader in an organization that is faith-based. So I chose you. How crazy is that? Interesting.
Very interesting. So,
can you explain to me how you got involved with Teen Challenge?
I just ran So, long story short, I have a past myself. Mm-hmm. So I was addicted to heroin for, I don't know, I want to say 13 years or so. Mm-hmm. I did the whole jail thing. I did and I could speak on the secular rehabs myself because I went there. I did the 30 days. I did the 60 days. I did the 90 days. I did the take 3, call me in the morning. How do you feel? Mm-hmm. Here, let's come to therapy. How do you feel today? And so I did all that, but nothing really worked. I didn't have that personal relationship, that personal experience. I was riding on the spiritual coats of my family, per se. So I just the teenage years just kind of got me into the whole drug scene and jail scene and, rehab scene and all of that until I got to a point that my family was like, hey, here's another program, but this one was a Christian program. My mentality was, I'm just going to go for 3 hots and a cot. I don't know what you mean. I don't know if you know what I mean by that.
No, can you
where 3 hots and a cot is like, I'm just going to go in just to get 3 hot meals and somewhere to sleep.
Yeah.
3 hots and a cot. That's all I'm here for. It was the beginning. It was like towards the end of winter. Oh my gosh. Maybe 2008. It was the beginning of 2009.
Okay.
It's cold. I don't want to live in the street. And all that. Let me go in for 3 hots in the cot. I do 3-4 months. I'll be out by in the middle of summer. I'll be looking good. I'll have some weight on me. And then I'm off to the races again. That was my mentality. I did not want to get well. I didn't want to stop what I was doing. So, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, yeah, I wanted to stop. But that was like one side of me. The other side of me, if I'm real with myself, the other side was going to sleep, crying because I didn't want to do the same thing over again.
Yeah.
Going, waking up sick, having to just, do whatever it is that I needed to do to actually, just get my fix. So all of that into play, went into this program. They offered the opportunity. It's like, hey, we have this second phase, this other part of the program, which I didn't really sign up for. But then something was telling me, it's like, you know what? Just try it. What do you got to lose?
Right.
So I did. And I remember as clearly as day as I'm riding up to, because this was in Rearsburg, Pennsylvania. So as I'm riding up, that road, there is this big sign that it just passed by, and then the sign, and it was my cousin driving, so I was in the back seat, mm-hmm. and I was just thinking, I'm like in the middle of nowhere, it's farms, It's literally in the middle of nowhere, and I'm thinking to myself, what did I get myself into? I'm a city kid, so what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And as soon as I finish that thought, just a sign passes by, and it says, "You will meet God."
Whoa, that's cool.
So then, and it just stuck with me. So I went in, and in that time of being in Teen Challenge, that's where God just I had an encounter with him. Mm-hmm. I had a real, genuine encounter with him where he showed me that, I thought that he was lost. I thought that he was hiding. I thought that he was the one that was just kind of running away from me, when in reality, it was all me. I was the one that was running. I was the one that was hiding. I was the one that needed that connection with him.
Juan talks about the significance of God choosing him in what seemed to be an unlikely circumstance. But what he didn't know was that God had his eyes on him all along. God was just waiting for Juan to choose him too, so that he could walk along the path of his personal ministry.
Wow.
So that's kind of like in a nutshell. And then after that, how did I get involved in Teen Challenge, right? So that's that part, right? That's as far as how I got into Teen Challenge, how I got involved in Teen Challenge as far as part of the leadership. Teen Challenge always offers what they call internship.
Okay.
So right after the program, they offered it to me. I didn't really know what it was, but long story short, I said, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. I graduated in April 2010. I went home for a week, and then I came back. And I remember that I got in because I'm originally from Connecticut, so I got on a train, 2 suitcases, $10 in my pocket, and then just ended up at Penn Station, Baltimore. That's it. I didn't know who was picking me up. I've only met the director at that point twice, and one time by phone. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but God knew. Yeah. I said, you know what? I'm going to make a commitment of 6 months. 6 months turned into a year. A year turned into 2. That's when I met your pops.
Yeah.
But then 2 years turned into 4. 4 turned into 8. 8 turned into 10. I mean, and it just goes on and on and on.
That's awesome.
Yep. And then still, I mean, here I am still.
That's so cool. Look at you.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? Look at God.
So can you describe what Teen Challenge is?
So Teen Challenge is really, in layman's terms, would be a rehabilitation program. Mm-hmm. But, it's more than that. It's not just a rehabilitation program. It's a faith-based rehabilitation program. Yeah. The slogan for Teen Challenge was, it's called now Adult and Teen Challenge, but I'll keep calling it TC, Teen Challenge. So the slogan for TC was the faith-based solution for the drug epidemic. So it's we have the solution, but it's faith-based. It's not therapeutic-based. It's not medical-based. It's faith-based. Okay. And then when guys come into the program, one of the things, that they always question is, when is therapy, or when is this, or it's like, nah, we don't have that. No, we're going to, wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going to read the Bible. We're going to pray. And once we're done with that, then we're going to read the Bible some more, and then we're going to pray. Yes. And then once we're done with that, we're going to eat. But then after that, then we're going to pray, and then we're going to read the Bible some more. We're going to talk for a little bit, and then we're going to read the Bible again, and we're going to pray. And then at the end of the night, I'm going to hand you some sheets so that way you can fill out, and we're going to pray. So it's Jesus in the morning, Jesus in the evening, Jesus at supper time. You know what I mean? So it's Christ-centered, I would say.
God placed Juan in a ministry that he was perfectly fit for, but not everyone's calling looks the same.
So you've been in ministry for a minute now.
For a minute, a hot minute, a New York minute. That's a long minute.
And I remember when we were talking in our previous conversation, you talked about just ministry, period, and that there's a dark side of ministry. And
Dark side
And I
of
feel
ministry.
like a lot of people don't hear that. So can you explain what you meant by that?
If you want to get involved in ministry, don't get involved in ministry. Straight up. I mean, you might feel that why is this pastor? Listen, it has to be a God thing, because you're gonna go through you're gonna become a toxic person. Like, everybody likes to give a bottle of water, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to, go pass out tracts or, flyers for the church event. You know what I mean? Oh, let's have a tent out and we'll give out some food. Everybody loves that. Listen, that's all beautiful.
Yeah.
But don't get involved in ministry if you're not called to the ministry. You know what I mean? But can you actually do it every single day? Every single day. It's like, okay, you're going to go to a shelter and pass out some food. Okay, yeah, we'll do that, once a month or something. Can you do that every single day? With the same people. You're praying for the same people. You're actually encouraging the same people. You're doing all of these things and trying to help them, and you see them fall and you help them again, and you see them fall and you help them again, and you see them. Can you actually do this every single day? So what I mean when I say like the dark side of ministry is this is something that I just learned as just time went, because we deal with guys who actually come in hurt, come in broken, even hurt, some de-churched, some hurt by church people because they thought they were called to ministry, but they just, they handled their leadership and their authority the wrong way, and it scarred these people and it just messed them up mentally. So we're dealing with all of those things, and then 2-3 months later, and we're ministering to these guys and we're talking to these guys and we're praying with them and everything, and then the guy just decides to leave. It's a commitment of 12 months.
Yeah.
And then
they can do that. They can just leave like that.
It's voluntary. It's
it's not like you're holding them hostage.
No, it's not jail. It's not an institution. You know what I mean? It's not a medical facility, where you need discharge papers and all of that. Nah, like, you come in, this is what our expectations are. This is our rule book. And this is what we believe, and this is what we're gonna do. Do you want to do it? And this is how long it is. Do you want to do this? Yes, fine. When that comes in, then we start working with them spiritually and of course physically a little bit. But then after a while, the guy will just say, "Nah, I don't want to be here." Now, I just poured 4 months out of my time with this guy. Sometimes waking up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, he's knocking at my door because he wants to leave. And then there I am praying for him. Doubts coming in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon while you're about to eat because you haven't had breakfast yet.
Yeah.
But yet you put everything aside, and then you sit down with this guy and you explain everything, and you see almost like a light in their eyes, like, okay, they're getting it. And then the next day they just decide to leave. And I just poured out my heart to this guy for 4 months. And this is where that dark part comes in. That is like, as much as I love you and everything, I refuse to let you take a piece of my heart with you. Because the moment you leave, another guy is going to come in and sleep on that bed. And that guy is going to need me 100%. So imagine if I just been, a 2% here, 3% there, 10% there, because some guys, they grip your heart, but imagine if I just do that throughout the years, I would have nothing left for the next guy. So then what exactly? So then what I would say is that I listen, you want to go? Deuces. Peace. See you later. And then some people, man, that's kind of cold. It's like, I cannot waste my energy on somebody that does not want to actually change. Changing is easy. Changing is easy. I could go to the next room, change my shirt, and I change my shirt. But what if it's a white shirt? And then maintaining that shirt white, that takes some work.
Yeah.
I mean, I've bought some hoodies and white jeans and white kicks and I mean, you probably get a good, 2-3 uses maybe until you start
you
seeing
dropping stuff and sitting in something.
So changing is easy. Maintaining the change is hard. That's what's hard.
Yeah.
So then if these guys actually don't want to maintain that change because they see the change, they're starting to see the change and they think that that's enough. So then they want to leave. Listen, I refuse to let you take a piece of my heart with you, because the next guys actually need me, and then that's kind of like, it's almost, and I hate to say it that way, but it's almost like business. But then again, this is my father's business.
Yeah.
So I'm all about my father's business. This is not personal. This is business, and I'm going to do what I have to do. We leave all these personal issues aside. This is business. So I'm going to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
That's why I always say that everybody's called to ministry.
Right.
Everybody's called to ministry. We're all called to ministry, especially the ministry of reconciliation. But some people are just called to the ministry. Some people are just called to a specific thing that God is just going to show up in their life and it's going to work through them in a miraculous way that they'll be able to look back and it's like, how did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I mean, that you should be able to just listen to God. If you're going to get into ministry, listen to God, to what it is that he wants you to do, so that way you could be that effective tool. Not just a tool inside of a toolbox, but just be that specific one that you're unique and nobody could do that but you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how God just takes off, man. So
Bars.
bars.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of this.
This was fun.
Yeah, I really appreciate you. And
Still nervous?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore?
I think it's just the fact that we talk like this anyways.
We do.
So
Yeah.
That
So
made it
fun.
a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it's you. So I can't wait to see what God continues to do within these next few, even weeks.
I'm excited. There are some big things coming up. So
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome stuff.
Ah!